Hey guys, Dr. Ryan Hewitt here at Innate Wellness Center. So I did this really stupid thing the other day. So being a 42-year-old former CrossFitter, I started to CrossFit again, and of course I ended up hurting my shoulder. And what had happened is I was doing, of course, muscle ups. So that's, if you are not familiar, when you're swinging on a set of rings and you're going from a full hanging position up to a full locked out position in a ring dip. So at the bottom, swinging up to the top, I felt a sharp pain up my shoulder, and of course I finished the workout. But the next day, here were my symptoms. I had lots of pain in the front of my shoulder here, and then some pain in the back of my shoulder, especially across my body. Now, knowing what I know about shoulders, I know that I tweaked what's called my labrum. So my bicep tendon, where it attaches to the superior aspect of what's called my labrum, that I imagine yanked a little bit, and that's why I have some inflammation in the front of my shoulder. And the back of my shoulder was also irritated, and a lot of the muscular groups that are trying to stabilize my shoulder, they're also working overtime. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to go over my rehab strategy to try to rehab my labrum, to try to, of course, avoid any long-term issues or surgery. All right, so follow me. So rehab strategy number one is I'm going to get my cervical spine checked and adjusted by Dr. Riley here. She's going to remove joint restrictions at the base of my neck to restore optimal neurological connection to my shoulder for healing. A rehab strategy with soft tissue is I'm using an ACUMOBILITY ball in my pec major and pec minor, and this is to pin and stretch the musculature that's working hard to stabilize the shoulder. So you can see I'm using a extension crossbody movement. The other soft tissue strategy is the posterior deltoid. So here I'm using the hug of death. So what I'm doing is I have the ball placed in the posterior delt, and I'm grabbing my arm, flexing and pulling the arm towards my face. Then I'm also going to put it on my rotator cuff muscles. So here I'm on my infraspinatus. It's right on the shoulder blade, and I'm using that internal external rotation and overhead extension. My last one here is with ACUMOBILITY balls between my shoulder blades. So I'm going to actively press my arms up overhead while pinning the balls between my shoulder blades, and I'm pressing my low back into the floor, so I'm keeping my core nice and tight. All right, so we're looking at exercises here. I'm going across my body with a very light dumbbell. So this is really conditioning not just the deltoid, but also all of those rotator cuff muscles, the stabilizers here into my shoulder. And I'm also going to use the same dumbbell and do some external rotations, as well as just some eccentric or really slow internal rotations. So this is just really targeting those internal and external rotators of my shoulder. Now I'm going to move on to, I love these. These are basically like snow angels, but in a Superman position. So I'm really working my whole full range of motion. Basically, it's like controlled articular rotations in my shoulder, just with body weight here, just in like a Superman position on the floor. And I love this movement for shoulder stabilization. This is a Kettlebell Crossbody Windmill. So I'm just pushing the kettlebell up overhead and keeping my eyes on the bell the whole time, and pushing my shoulder back into the floor and pressing it up overhead. I'll do that on both sides, and then lastly I'll just do some carries overhead just to work those stabilizers, really pulling the ribs towards my spine, keep squeezing my glutes as I walk, and really pressing that up overhead to really work those stabilizers.